In the year 2000, we were graced with the animated adventure The Road to El Dorado, with the wonderful voice talents of Kevin Kline and Kenneth Branagh. Welcome back to Have You Seen That Film, where I'm your host, Dylan Lloyd. Today we're going to be discussing The Road to El Dorado, a personal favorite of mine, and one of the best animated movies, in my opinion. The Road to El Dorado tells the story of two gamblers and thieves who are best friends, Miguel and Tulio, and they both can never seem to catch a break. In the beginning of the movie, we find them gambling with loaded dice, and then by chance, when the people they're gambling against have them use their real dice, they happen to roll the number they need, and they win the map to El Dorado. Shortly after that, though, as they're escaping, once the loaded dice have been discovered, they stow away on a ship which actually happens to be Cortez's ship, which is headed to the Americas. In the middle of the night, though, thanks to the horse El Tivo, they're able to escape off the vessel with El Tivo, and they end up on the island. They eventually end up on shore, and from there, one of the characters still has the map to El Dorado, and they discover that this is one of the landmarks on the map, and they decide, let's follow this. Let's see if we can find the legendary city of gold. And they actually do. And once they get there, they get mistaken for gods. And so they have to live up to this charade, try not to be caught, when there is a member of the city, Senko Khan, who is onto them. Eventually he discovers that they're not gods, and he tries to take them down. In the end, Cortez is on his way to the City of Gold, and so it's up to Miguel and Tulio to save El Dorado. El Dorado is a big part, as to me, why it's so successful. It was so great, is its voice cast. Some movies really nail it when they hire certain actors or bring on certain voices for their films. Vincent Price in the role of Ratigan in The Great Mouse Detective is one of those. The entire cast of Emperor's New Groove is a perfect example of perfect voice casting. And The Road to El Dorado would also be one of those examples of the perfect voice casting. You have Kenneth Branagh and Kevin Kline, who really bring a lot to these are both classically trained actors. They both have done various different film roles, from being from Shakespeare and musicals to comedies to dramas. Their acting range varies. They're both very talented at what they do, and they were able to bring so much into this animated movie that's like an hour and 20 something minutes, and they bring so much to life within their characters. I sometimes feel like it was almost like they just said, okay, here's the scene, kind of do your thing. And they both did a lot. This movie, one thing that's so great about it is a lot of the lines, a lot of the humor comes from the interactions between Miguel and Tulio and the things they say and do, and it's very quotable. I find myself quite often quoting a lot of what they say, particularly like when I'm given a choice between this or that. I often say both will do, and it's just one that, like, in passing with my wife, like, we'll be chuckling and we'll start quoting things from this, and we just start laughing even more. It's a very funny movie, and it's one that I feel is very underrated. It actually was not successful when it came out at the box office. This was it was before Shrek, so it was I feel like this was the time when DreamWorks was trying to get their animated studios find out what they were trying to get their footing. They had the Prince of Egypt, which came out and was successful, and then they had like this and Sinbad, which weren't too successful, which is really unfortunate because I feel like a lot of people have missed this movie. I feel like over the years it's kind of had a bit of a resurgence thanks to like streaming services, because I find oftentimes when I'm like talking with friends or different people, like this is a movie that often people have actually seen now. But at the time, I missed out, and this was actually another one that I read before where they were going to, they had planned sequels, other adventures for Miguel and Tulio to go out on, but then because it wasn't financially successful, they scrapped those ideas, which to me it's like, no, I would have loved to see more adventures of these two together. Another thing that is great about this movie is the music. It's actually from the same team that brought us The Lion King. They reunited everyone. Elton John's here, Hans Zimmer. They once again bring some of the magic they brought from The Lion King into this movie, and they have a lot of fun songs. Some of my personal favorites are The Trail We Blaze and It's Tough to Be Gods. I recently was out thrifting. It's one of my favorite things to do, and I found the CD, which is a super rare find, and so there was no doubt that I purchased it. And it's one that is often played when my family and I are out driving, because we love the music to this movie. They're just fun songs that you can sing along, and they're just enjoyable. And these are just some of the things that really work for this movie and make it so enjoyable. I love the animation for it. It's very colorful, it's very bright, and I love it in animations when there's so many vibrant colors, but it's done right. Like, this one, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, I think is the most beautifully animated movie. And I feel like a lot of it has to do with just the colors that they're able to blend and mesh together. And this one, I feel that, like, Miguel and Tulio's shirts, they're red and blue, but they're like this perfect shade. They go well together. And there's so many other scenes within this movie where the animation is just stunning. I love it. And so if you're an animated film kind of person, and if you prefer DreamWorks animation and their humor over like Disney, then you definitely have to check out The Road to El Dorado. What's fun about DreamWorks that I tend to enjoy a lot is a lot of their humor, yes, is geared towards kids, but they throw in a lot for adults as well. So both can equally enjoy it. Sometimes you can say the same for Disney, but sometimes, Disney is definitely, their animations at times are more geared towards the children, and yet adults still love them. But DreamWorks is really good at doing that, where they make humor that everyone in the family can enjoy. And so don't miss out on The Road to El Dorado. You would truly be missing out on Kevin Kline and Kenneth Branagh bringing to life some fun characters and hearing their talent. What's great about these two guys is their talent. They're not even on the screen, it's just their voices, and yet I still enjoy it. I still enjoy watching them as animated characters. So check this movie out. If you've seen it and you have your own opinion, comment down below. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. If you didn't, let me know why and comment that down below. And if you haven't done so yet, subscribe. As always, that's a wrap.